recovered in the aftermath of Suleja Tafa flood disaster. Following reports of maltreatment of Nigerians in Bakassi Peninsula, Foreign Minister summons Cameroonian ambassador. And Supreme Court lays to rest contention over Edo State governorship. Good evening, this is NTA Network News. I am Sheung Olagunju, and in Maiduguri is Mohammed Ibrahim.
Good evening, Sheung. Good evening, viewers.
Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has assured motorists flying the Mokwa-Jeba-Ilorin road that relief will soon come their way in 14 days when the temporary bridge over the collapsed Mokwa Bridge will be put in place. The acting president gave the assurance during an unscheduled visit to Tatabu Mokwa local government area of Niger State, scene of a collapsed bridge that has affected vehicular movement on that road.
The Tatabu Bridge in Mokwa local government area of Niger State is on the important link road between northwest, north central and southwestern part of the country. It is part of Route A20 on the Trans-Saharan Highway linking the desert to the sea. The bridge, which collapsed on the 11th of last month, has caused untold hardship to commuters and transporters alike, most of whom have been stranded along the road. Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on an inspection visit to the scene of the collapsed bridge, urged motorists to be patient with the situation as the federal government is doing all it can to ensure the road is opened up for traffic.
But we've also tried to see how, with the help of the FRSC, better movement of goods and materials, can come here for work here. So we're looking at that possibility as well, and looking at all various options of bringing the materials as quickly as possible here.
The acting president maintained that the present administration is committed to maintaining all federal roads across the country.
And our government has been committed to maintaining all of these roads. Now don't forget that the government, as you see it, is just over 2 years. And we've worked on roads across the country, practically everywhere. Now this is a huge nation with several road networks. But the most important thing is to understand also that some of these roads are taking much heavier traffic, much heavier tonnage than they can really take. That's why a railway network is absolutely important. We're committed to building the Lagos-Kano rail. We're committed to building the Lagos-Calabar railroads, because you must have an alternative.
Minister for Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, and other personalities, while calling on motorists to be patient with the situation, decried overloading by road users, especially trailer drivers, as the main cause of the deteriorating condition of roads across the country.
I want to use this opportunity to also appeal to commuters to be patient. We didn't foresee this. We are doing the very best to respond. And there's another failure, I believe, at Bokani that also we had to quickly deploy to. If only we could control the weight of trucks on our roads, apparently when something is being done on a permanent basis, I think it will reduce the risk of losing more roads. We continue to ask our people to be patient and to have a lot of patience to these situations a natural disaster.
Contract for the construction of the Tatabu Bridge had earlier been awarded at the cost of 2.5 billion naira and is expected to be completed in 6 months. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
4 bodies have been recovered while 8 persons are still missing in the aftermath of the flood that affected some parts of Suleja and Tafa local government areas of Niger State. Mukhtar Abubakar reports that the flood followed a heavy downpour which lasted for more than 12 hours.
The heavy downpour, which started at about 10 o'clock on Saturday night, lasted till Sunday morning. The flood, which occurred while the victims were at sleep, affected about 100 houses, with some completely washed away. Most of the affected structures in some parts of Suleja and Tafa local government area were by the river bank, which make them vulnerable to such disaster. Some of the victims, including one Saadu Abubakar, who lost 2 wives and 6 children to the flood, called on relevant authorities to come to their aid, having lost their property to the disaster. At the moment, they are temporarily accommodated by their neighbors. I tried to rescue my wives and children, but I was overwhelmed by the flood and narrowly escaped.
Before we know what thing they happen, what you hear now, wow, like this everywhere full.
What government should be focusing on is looking at these kind of areas through their ecological process.
When we came out, these our neighbors that are here could not be able to cross because the water have already blocked this other side. They were screening for us to help them, but we couldn't.
The village head of Bakin Iku, one of the affected communities, Musa Shuaibu, appealed to the government to intervene and stop erecting structures by the river bank.
Because of the place when they build it, it's not okay for building there.
This is the location where the person that lost his 2 wives and 6 children built his house. In Suleja, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Still on flooding, last Saturday's downpour in Lagos left in its wake worrisome effects on the residents and their property. Jennifer Igwe in this report takes a look at efforts by the state government to avert more disaster.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency had earlier warned that there will be extended rains of 3 to 8 days for areas around Adamawa, Ogun, Edo, Niger Delta and low-lying areas like Lagos. Did the state make strategic plans to this effect?
We have enough canals to make it go back. If not, they will still be all over the place. The canals are functional, highly functional.
Although efforts were made by the state government to clear drainage channels, expand and build new ones, some Lagosians insist nothing was done, for instance, to safeguard them from being clogged by waste materials caused by wrong disposal of refuse by residents.
Since about 2 years ago, they haven't cleared this canal. 2 years ago. We cannot probably have officers that will be looking after each drain. The people of an area should own their area.
In year 2010 and 2011, the state recorded flood disasters. Lives and properties were lost. As a result of this, the state government intensified efforts to nip the state's perennial flood challenge in the bud to prevent more havoc. The impact of this was evident in year 2012. This is because when many states in Nigeria were ravaged by floods, Lagos had minimal cases. The flood management initiative continued in year 2013 and subsequent years. In recent times, however, the drainage channels seem to be overwhelmed by continuous downpour.
We are monitoring and managing issues as they come, and we are just telling them that it's a global phenomenon. When the tides are high, this hard force will not go in there. When they are too high, water starts coming in.
In Lagos, Jennifer Igwe, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing says efforts are on to restore power supply in Ikoyi, Victoria Island and Lekki following an outage caused by the recent flooding. Special Assistant to the Minister, Hakim Bello, says the power station serving Aja and Lekki is flooded and water is currently being pumped out with a view to restore service. Now, the current flooding incidents in the country have been attributed to lack of adequate preparation and poor drainage systems across the country. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria, while discussing the ravaging effects of the flood, say it is ironic that, in spite of forecasts, people did not take measures to avert the fallout of the flooding. Lydia Samsing has the report.
The guests, who emphasize that flood can mess up every human activity extending to loss of lives, are of the view that the ravaging effect could have been minimized or even prevented. They believe that if citizens uphold the responsibility of waste management, they will not be found wanting in the blocking of already narrow drainages with waste.
We should have had some wetlands, which is supposed to be a buffer for flood waters. Now, that not being the case now, of course, with this kind of increased precipitation and sea rise, it will definitely cause so much havoc.
I mean, the ice in the North Pole and the Antarctica, they're all melting and increasing the volume of water in the ocean. No matter how you want to deny it, the reality.
We apologize for that hitch in that report. The federal government has summoned the Cameroonian ambassador to Nigeria over a reported case of maltreatment of Nigerians at the Bakassi Peninsula. Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama stated this while reacting to the situation there. Correspondent Abdullahi Garba Breninkudu reports.
With the signing of Green Tree Agreement between former President Obasanjo and that of Cameroon Paul Biya, Nigeria withdrew its troops from Bakassi, agreeing that Nigerian nationals shall not be forced to change their nationality or leave the peninsula. This came after the International Court of Justice ruling, with Nigeria ceding some parts of the Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon. But there are allegations of invasion, maltreatment and imposition of tax on Nigerians to the tune of 100,000 naira per canoe in fishing activity in the area by Cameroon. A group, Pan-Niger Delta Forum, led by Chief Edwin Clark, lamented the situation, calling for quick government intervention, suggesting for the Special Bakassi Commission to assist the indigents.
Those who said, no, we are not going to Cameroon, we want to remain in Nigeria, they withdrew. Today they are suffering in Nigeria. Stateless people.
Speaking to NTA News, Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama says the federal government is seriously looking into the issues with the involvement of Cameroon government.
Yes, we've heard about it, and I directed that the here should be summoned here, and he was, and presented with the facts. And we protested strongly. Of course, we need to be sure of all the facts. We can't accept maltreatment of Nigerians anywhere.
The minister was quick to remind Nigerians of the paramount responsibility of government of protecting their lives and property wherever they are, emphasizing that responsibility is not negotiable. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Brunonkudu, NTA News.
In the meantime, NTA's Mariam Vincent Oko was at the Bakassi returnees camp in Ibaka local government area of Akwa Ibom State. She spoke to some of the returnees.
James Amos, a fisherman who hails from Ondo State, said he has lived in Bakassi for 20 years with his family, but hurriedly left last week after an attack by the Cameroon gendarmes.
When the gendarmes captured us at the sea, just close to Nigeria border here, they meet us and say, why are we fishing? I said, this is Nigeria territory. They say I should pour petrol on my boy's head. They say I should throw my engine in the water. I throw it. So it was one of my friends that took me down. I did not have, he have to come and tie me down to the beach. Even this one is the worst because this one entails killing. So the people out of fear, they now ran to Ibaka.
Although their return to safety may be the best option, the people say the problem of accommodation remains a challenge as the deplorable state of the Bakassi returning camp has further compounded their situation.
I really want both tiers of government, the federal, the state and even local government to assist them, particularly financially.
While commending the federal government's effort so far towards resolving the lingering issues in the Bakassi Peninsula, the returnees say a lot more still need to be done.
Since they came back, we've been trying on our own to give them relief materials. I have reported to the Commissioner of Local Government and Chief Safety Affairs for onward report to the governor.
The forceful eviction of Nigerians from the Bakassi Peninsula, seen as a violation of the Green Tree Agreement reached in 2015 between Nigeria and Cameroon, has also crippled fishing activities in Ibaka. Marian Vincent Oko, NTA News.
Still on diplomatic issues, dismayed by the recent long delays and perceived disrespectful treatment of Nigerians returning home from Saudi Arabia by Ethiopian Airline, officials of the airline and the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, have appeared before the House Committee on Aviation on the matter. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports that given the seriousness of the issue, the hearing was adjourned following the absence of the Minister of State for Aviation.
The case involved pilgrims returning from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The committee unanimously agreed to adjourn proceedings because the resolution on the floor of the House stipulated that the input of the Minister of State for Aviation was crucial, without which a comprehensive report to the House was impossible. Nkiruka Onyejiocha is the chairman, House Committee on Aviation.
You can delay flights, okay? And then when you delay flight, you should take care of your passengers. And sometimes you pay compensation according to civil aviation regulations. But now this thing did not happen. Of course, these airline operators should know that we are Nigerians and we deserve some respect.
Officials of Ethiopian Airlines, the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Mukhtar Usman, were present. The hearing is adjourned to Tuesday, 11th of July, after which the committee will report back to plenary. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party challenging the election of Godwin Obaseki of the All Progressives Congress as the duly elected governor of Edo State. The seven-man panel, led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, in a unanimous decision, affirmed the earlier rulings of both the tribunal and the appeal court. Dele Atumbi reports.
Seen at both tribunal and appellate courts sitting in Benin, the candidate of the PDP in the September 28, 2016 Edo State governorship election, Ozage Ezeyamun, approached the Supreme Court praying it to upturn their decisions. In his appeal, Ezeyamun alleges irregularities and gross non-compliance with the Electoral Act during the election that brought in the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Godwin Obaseki, as governor of Edo State. In a unanimous judgment, the Supreme Court's seven-man panel, led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter Onogen, dismissed the appeal for lack of merit with no cost.
Now, the losers know themselves, the winners know themselves. I think what is important now is to allow the people who have won, to settle to good governance.
But what is instructive also is that God is in Edo State, and by the grace of God, we will deliver according to the electoral promises that we made.
The Apex Court fixed 21st of July 2017 to give reasons for the judgment. This judgment forecloses all litigations over Edo State governorship election. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Here's to let you know, if you didn't, that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come on the news, stalled power projects to be speedily completed to boost power supply. Stay with us.
You know the coolest place in town is right here on your phone.
Welcome to the Glow Cafe. Come on in. It's buzzing in the Zanga. In here, anything is possible. Check out the menu, and here are some of the hot items. Over here, you can buy credit, buy data, share data, borrow voice and data, give data. Give it to him now, be kind. Then there is Glow Music Cafe. More than 2 million Nigerian and Africa Lamba. Glow has teamed up with the world's largest gaming catalog to bring you the Glow Game Cafe. And that's just a start. Check out the Glow Video Cafe. Countless clips, comedy and sports, direct to your device. And when you thought things couldn't get easier, there's personal account management and Glow customer care right at your fingertips.
You can get everything at Glow.
Simply text BUZZ to 105 to download the Glow Cafe app or go to your app store and search for Glow Cafe, the largest data network. Glow, grandmasters of data.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. 4 packs, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, if it's not Indomie, don't call it Indomie. Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy a delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Taste is the difference.
Yes, difference is in the taste. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Before the road is so terrible, many cannot follow through this way. We have to follow other way before coming to work.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with Nigerian Shippers Council, holds a 2-day national summit on establishment, management and operations of truck transit parks in Nigeria. Date: Tuesday 11th to Wednesday 12th of July 2017. Venue: Sheraton Hotels and Towers, Abuja. Time: 9 a.m. daily. The theme for the summit is Truck Transit Parks, providing critical infrastructure for trading transit in Nigeria. Target audience: investors, National Assembly members, financial institutions, and the organized private sector. Chief host: Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Chibike Amechi. Key speaker: Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Raji Fashola. Signed, Management.
Convocation. The Vice Chancellor of Ambrose Ali University, EPOMA, Professor I.A. Onimawo, on behalf of the Governing Council, Senate, staff and students, cordially invites the general public to the 21st convocation ceremony of the university, scheduled as follows. Monday 10th and Tuesday 11th 2017, collection of academic gowns. Wednesday 12th July 2017, convocation concert. Thursday 13th July 2017, convocation lecture. Time 2 p.m. Friday 14th July 2017, award of prizes, conferment of first degrees, diplomas and certificates. Time 10 a.m. Saturday, 15th July 2017, installation of the visitor, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, Executive Governor of Edo State, and the award of higher degrees and honorary degrees. Time 10 a.m. All events take place at the university main campus. Come one, come all. Signed, CM Adamaibo, KSC, Registrar.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I didn't mind my money. Now cheap one, I dey buy. Standard. We sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office where near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTA Network News. The Nigeria Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Advisory Council rose from its meeting Monday with a determination to find lasting solutions to the challenges facing industry and industrialization in the country. State House correspondent Judy Onifade reports.
This is the second meeting of the Nigeria Industrial Policy and Competitiveness Council. The first of the meeting was held after the inauguration of the council in May this year. The council, headed by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, discussed modalities of how the council would carry out its assignment. Members of the council were formed into groups to discuss and look into critical matters affecting the industry.
This was a working meeting, and we have committed to making sure that working together between the private sector and the public sector, we engage and solve the most pressing problems and challenges that face industry and industrialization in Nigeria.
Some areas, some critical areas, that the, our council is looking at, like power, infrastructure, roads, capacity building, and all those things. But the most important thing thing that I think the council is looking at is to see how the power generation will be improved in Nigeria. As we all know, power generation in Nigeria is still at 4,000 megawatts in more than 20 years. So government is very concerned, is very worried, and they are doing everything possible to ensure that Nigeria has the required power.
Nigeria is going to be the hub for car manufacturing in Africa in future, with all these policies our governments are giving.
In a related development, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo received a delegation of the International Atomic Energy Agency's nuclear professionals. They are in Nigeria to assess the regulatory infrastructure for nuclear safety and radiation protection. They are also to assess nuclear legal and administrative structures for Nigeria. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
All stalled power projects in different parts of Nigeria will be speedily completed in line with the present administration's policy thrust of incremental power supply. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, made the commitment at the commissioning of a 2x60 MVA transmission substation in Kukwaba, Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
This transmission substation adds 120 megawatts of electricity into the national grid, with Abuja being the immediate beneficiary. Besides improving power in some areas within the Federal Capital Territory, it will reduce load shedding, technical losses, relay electricity to the rest 3 substations in the FCT, and reduce duration in tracing faulty lines.
Customers now will have more than one source, meaning that if there's a fault on the source which is supplying them, we'll be able to switch them to another source.
For the Power, Works and Housing Ministry, there will be harvest of power projects inauguration, as no project will be left unattended to, just as local contractors rise to the occasion.
It delayed up to this point because of lack of funding.
Let us deliver time.
Soon after the inauguration of the power project, key players in the generation, transmission and distribution arms of the power value chain went into a closed-door meeting which lasted over 3 hours, deliberating essentially on how to increase power supply in the country and customer service-related issues.
The focus on customer service is also why, from the outset, we have focused on metering. It is an issue that agitates the mind of Nigerians who wish to pay only for what they consume, that ensure that TCN's wheeling capability delivers energy to where the distribution companies need it.
Other issues discussed at the meeting include the need for mass metering policy, extending power supply to more areas, engaging security outfits to curb electricity theft, and payment of electricity supplied to distribution companies through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Mie Ogidi, NT News.
The AYA flyover that will convey traffic from the Abuja-Kefi Expressway in and out of Abuja will be open to the public by the end of this month. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello stated this when he inspected the project as well as the ongoing Millennium Tower project in Abuja. Mitaire Ipen reports.
Finishing touches are ongoing by the contractor to complete the AYA flyover started since January 2010. The bridge connects commuters from the Yayan-Kefi Expressway with the Goodluck Jonathan Expressway, which dissects Abuja city center and will put an end to perennial traffic gridlock when eventually opened to the public.
It fits into our program of trying to complete major infrastructure projects in the city that, like I always say, that have the greatest impact on the greatest number of people.
The minister also inspected the 160 meters Abuja Millennium Tower and Cultural Center project, expected to attract tourism to the city and provide recreation for residents, but which has been suspended in the last 2 years for lack of funds. He says priority will be given to segments of the project.
The car park is done. It has capacity for 1,200 motor vehicles. Go around Abuja, you see so many vehicles parked on the streets. So obviously this is something that is a solution for what we already have in the city.
The concept of the Millennium Tower is to give Abuja a symbol that it will be known for globally. And when completed, it is expected to provide residents and visitors a unique environment for socialization and entertainment in Abuja Mitaire Ikben. NTA News.
The federal government has maintained its commitment to building a creative industry driven by the private sector for optimal performance and growth. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, restated this in Lagos at the opening of the Maiden Film and Creative Industry Roundtable hosted by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Anthony Forson reports.
Industry Roundtable has participants drawn from the content production sector. The forum is designed to come up with a guide on how to fast-track the main objective of transforming the industry. It is in the light of this that the Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, says the present administration's intention of supporting and facilitating an enabling environment for the growth of the sector is unwavering.
This administration has no doubt that the plan to transform the creative industry to a creative economy must be driven by the private sector. It therefore stands to reason that with the government providing the necessary enabling environment and the private sector in the driver's seat, the transformation can be realized within a short time.
The roundtable is also expected to highlight international best practices that will attract funding as well as inject cutting-edge ideas.
This roundtable will provide the stakeholders the opportunity to engage in business-focused discussions with a view to initiating enabling private sector-led growth and development of the creative industry. We will dialogue and engage key industry personnel on the business of the creative sector while addressing key issues affecting the sector, such as intellectual property rights, piracy, education, poverty, power supply, security, access to finance, distribution, infrastructure, technical competence, film content, multiple taxation, and multiple level registration.
For now, apart from the partnership with United Nations World Tourism Organization and the proposal with CNN, to kickstart the project, a 13-episode production showcasing Nigeria will be rolled out soon. The Director General, Nigerian Tourism Development Corporation, Folarunsho Koka, said the sector's huge potentials must be explored to the fullest. An overview of the role of the industry in generating the desired revenue was presented by Kene Nkwaru, Managing Director, Film House Cinemas. In Lagos, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To effectively and efficiently deepen democracy in Nigeria, strengthen partnership on anti-corruption and security, Nigeria and the European Union have resolved to adopt new measures mutually beneficial to both parties. The resolution was reached at a meeting between the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, and the heads of EU missions in Nigeria. Gabriel Odu reports.
The Nigeria-European Union political dialogue was the outcome of the 6th Nigeria-EU meeting held last year in Brussels, Belgium. It is aimed at engaging more closely the European Union on investment, migration, and other regional and global issues.
At the moment, Nigeria has bilateral agreements on irregular migration with 8 different countries. Now, the EU wants us to negotiate only with EU on on matters of return of and re-entry of migrants, irregular migrants.
Specifically on the economy, I mean, we started with what we call the Buhari agenda, that is security, corruption, and economy. And then we added items on irregular migration, also the humanitarian situation in the northeast.
The meeting also discussed investment in solid minerals, agriculture, and other sectors of the Nigerian economy, as well as the contributions of the European Union countries during the Oslo Donor Conference in Norway, with over $1 billion to halt the humanitarian crisis in the northeast. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
Diababari is in our Port Harcourt studios. She has more reports. Hello, Diababari. It's over to you.
And welcome to Port Harcourt.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has undertaken a routine operational visit to the 115 Special Operations Group, Nigeria Air Force, Port Harcourt. Chidebere reports that the purpose of the visit is to ascertain the state of readiness of facilities being put in place to operate and maintain some of the recently acquired platforms by the Nigerian Air Force.
The essence of the visit, according to the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, is to monitor the state of some operational facilities, most of which are critical to the maintenance of the fighter aircraft being refurbished by aero contractors, which is to be deployed to the ongoing counter-insurgency operation against the Boko Haram insurgents and other subversive elements in Nigeria.
If a nation is fighting a war, every resource should be mobilized, whether civil or military. And that is what we have done. The retired captain you saw there, you can see him with his gray hair and everything, but he's teaching. He has taught so many pilots that are flying today. He's teaching another set of pilots. And also in terms of maintenance, you can see aero contractors working hand in hand with us.
The Air Chief, who also visited the 207 Flying Wing and the Base Defense Coordinating Center, disclosed that the Nigerian Air Force is working with foreign experts as well as civil authorities in training their personnel to be combat ready in addressing the security challenges confronting the nation. From the Air Force Base in Port Harcourt, Chidebere Onyea, NTA News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has sworn in 16 additional permanent secretaries to reinvigorate the state civil service. Ogedi Yekwe reports that the governor also swore in the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Emmanuel Aguma, and 13 local government caretaker committee chairmen.
Governor Wike reminded the newly sworn-in permanent secretaries that their new position means more work, urging them to exhibit good qualities of leadership in their various ministries and agencies.
Not in the civil service in the state, even at the federal level. Sometimes you are the one who open the doors for politicians and tell them, look, this is what they are supposed to do for us to make money from here. And then you go back to say the politicians are those who are collecting money. Meanwhile, you are the one who is instigating, making sure that that is done.
The governor, who also swore in 13 local government area caretaker committee chairmen and the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Emmanuel Aguma, warned them against corrupt practices that will undermine their positions. In Port Harcourt, Ogedi Nyekwere, NTA News.
And that's our bit from Port Harcourt. Is back to show for the rest of the news. Good evening. Thank you, dear Barbari. And up ahead is business news. Stay with us.
This is what a normal data day looks like. You on your lane, minding your own business. La 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 la. Suddenly, Glow decides to surprise you. Free 200 megabytes, and wow, your parole don't change. This means you begin to enjoy more uploads and more Snapchatting, more streaming, more gaming. Look at you, buzzing around town, having the time of your life.
Free Data Day is here for all Glow subscribers. Get 200 MB free data for a day and change your parole. Use 100 MB plus 150 naira on voice calls or just 250 naira on voice calls in the preceding week to enjoy. Watch out for an SMS alert for details. The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Welcome to the new world of superb taste, now here in Nigeria. Everyone, try it and enjoy the delicious goodness. We are bringing our new noodles to every corner of the country. That's right, it tastes great. It tastes fantastic. It's time for a new noodle. Nigeria, you want the truly delicious taste? Come and get it! Be supreme, Nigeria. Do you know the 125?
You know the 125. Do you know the 125? Oh, so you don't know the 125. Huh. Well, since you do not know about the 125, then let me introduce you to the 125.
McVitie's Digestive is celebrating 125 years by giving away millions of naira in cash and airtime in the 125 promo from the 1st of July to the 30th of September. Simply buy any of the McVitie's Digestive special promo packs, scratch the foil, and text the codes to 55332, and you could be one of the lucky winners. Now, that's the 125. Keep buying, keep scratching, and keep winning.
Approved by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Hey, great news! Oral-B has just been voted Kudo's #1 quality toothpaste of 2017 by you. So even though times are hard, as a mother, you know that Oral-B is good for your family's oral health because they deserve the best. It's great value because it protects you against tooth holes and gum problems that can lead to tooth loss. It strengthens your family's teeth and gives them all-round protection. So remember, protect their future. Oral-B for healthier and stronger teeth in 1 week.
Reorganized, trained, and fully equipped. We are the new improved Nigeria Police Force. We fight crime. We bust syndicates. Whatever the crime, wherever the hideout, the Nigeria Police Force will get you busted. Stop kidnapping, armed robbery, murder, pipeline vandalism, and other criminal activities. Be productive. Be security conscious. Join the police force to secure your life and property. This message is from the Nigeria Police Force Public Relations Department.
On business news tonight, Libya and Nigeria may be asked to cap oil output, says the Kuwaiti oil minister, as output in both countries rise amid exemption from global courts. Let's join Amina Najim for details of these and more stories.
Hello and welcome to Business News. The issue of diversification of the Nigerian economy is one that has been extensively talked about in the Nigerian economic and political space. Many economists and related professionals share this belief that the nation's gross domestic product, GDP, will greatly improve to the benefit of the common man and the society at large. Economists who spoke with NTA Business News say diversification is the way to go, calling for a holistic and action-driven approach in shifting from oil, which is the mainstay of the nation's economy.
What we really need now in terms of our economy is what I call economic restructuring. Every state in Nigeria is sufficient enough with the resources available, but it depends how they harness it and how do they use it.
Whether we diversify or not, as far as that problem is still there, corruption, we are going nowhere. Corruption must be tackled first.
The economic recession has imposed on countries like Nigeria the need to be creative and innovative in the approach of doing business for enhanced sustainability. Experts believe that the use of the capital market to fashion out viable solutions to closing Nigeria's huge infrastructure gap remains very crucial. This is in addition to creating a conducive business-friendly environment that will stimulate companies to list voluntarily in line with international best practices.
That's with a view to integrating sectors or individuals that have been left out of the economy, out of the capital market, to come and make their own contribution in terms of developing the market and by extension the economy. Listing by public companies or big corporations, these are all areas of mainstreaming the key sectors of the economy, bringing them into the formal sector for them to also get sustainable funding.
Apart from harnessing business performances, the capital market also gives the average Nigerian the opportunity of sharing in the process of decision-making. And still on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, closing figures last week were dominated by negative sentiments. However, Thursday saw a reversal of that trend. On Friday, the NSE ASI closed at 32,459.17 basis points to gain 0.32%. Market capitalization stood at 11.189 trillion naira. Next is a graphic summary of more details. From the international scene comes the news that Kuwait Oil Minister Issam El Marzouk says Libya and Nigeria, which have both boosted oil production since they were exempted from global cuts this year, may be asked to cap their crude output soon in an effort to help rebalance the markets. OPEC and non-OPEC producers have invited the two African nations to their committee meeting in St. Petersburg, Russia on July 24th to discuss the stability of their production. The two countries came into focus after they seemed to resolve some of their political challenges that had slashed their production. And that report concludes Business News. The bulletin continues shortly.
Maiduguri is our next port of call and Mohammed is our guide. Hello Mohammed, good evening.
Thank you, Shaun. Welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Conflict Management and Mitigation Regional Council CMMRC has added its voice to condemn the quit notice issued Igbos to vacate the north by some Arewa youths. The chairman of the council, Zanna Hassan Boma, said Nigeria struggled to retain her unity, which he believes should not be disrupted. Pauline Kujavana reports.
Conflict Management and Mitigation Regional Council was inaugurated in Borno by Interfaith Mediation Center to promote peace building among people of different faiths and ethnic backgrounds within and outside Nigeria. Chairman, Conflict Management and Mitigation Regional Council, Zanna Hassan Boma, stressed the importance of togetherness for social and economic development and called on Nnamdi Kanu and Arewa youths attempting to break Nigeria to abandon such agitations.
The call by the Arewa youths and Nnamdi Kanu should not be allowed to threaten this solid socio-economic struggle by our great nationalists like Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Chief Owapemi Awolowo, and other nationalists.
Borno CMMRC also urged Igbos and other ethnic groups living in Borno to ignore the quit notice issued Igbos and other provocative statements that threaten the unity of Nigeria. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
300 internally displaced persons suffering from acute eye problems and other health challenges from Banki, Bama, and Dalori camps will benefit from free eye surgery by the Nigerian Air Force. Chief of Medical Services, Headquarters of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Saleh Shinkafi, stated this while monitoring the commencement of the medical outreach at 105 Composite Group of the Air Force in Maiduguri. Abubakar Mohamed Musa has the report.
The 300 internally displaced persons who will undergo eye and other surgeries were carefully selected based on the acuteness of their health challenges. The medical outreach, which is in line with the directive of the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, will hold in all IDP camps across the country, and it is expected to address major health problems.
Every patient that is screened that has problem will be attended to, even if it takes us to go beyond the 1 week we have earmarked for the program. Like today, the surgeons will probably conduct up to about 25 surgeries cases.
This medical outreach does not entail a long procedure to obtain. As such, the Nigerian Air Force is calling on IDPs who are in need of medical services to avail themselves of such rare opportunity for the betterment of their health. Some of the beneficiaries expressed their profound gratitude to the Nigerian Air Force for identifying with them. From 105 Composite Group of the Nigerian Air Force in Maiduguri, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
That does it for our contribution. Back to Abuja.
Many thanks, Mohammed. We'll take another short break now. Up ahead after the break, a bit on sport. Stay with us.
Nigeria's central stage in championing the fight against corruption, as endorsed by the African Union, is the focus on NTA Tuesday Live this week. NTA Tuesday Live, incising, educating, and informative. Join us.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Hi guys, look how my baby Jamil has grown. And as they grow, there's a worry we all share, skin rash. Some use lotions or petroleum jelly, but I found what works for Jamil is Nigerian Pampers. It has built-in lotion to help protect his delicate skin and keep him dry. See you in the morning, Jam Jam. Good morning, happy Jam Jam. Dry and soft and no sign of a rash. Join many other moms and try Nigerian Pampers with lotion. Let's beat the rash.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Adebola Brookslyn Sunday is standing by with the foreign news.
Nice to have you join us on the foreign segment. Let's begin from Africa, where a vote to replace President Joseph Kabila of the Democratic Republic of Congo may probably not be possible this year. According to the Electoral Commission, Kabila's refusal to step down at the end of his second term in December 2016 sparked protests that killed dozens of people. This development, Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyama says, will violate a deal that let Kabila stay on beyond the end of his constitutional mandates.
Well, it's never a good thing when timelines are not implemented, especially where they involve, democratic processes. So it's never a good thing at all.
And a huge blaze broke out overnight at Camden Market in North London. London Fire Brigade said 70 firefighters and 10 fire engines were sent to the site, which is a popular tourist attraction. So far, no injuries have been recorded. Report says major fires have hit the sprawling market area twice in recent years, in 2008 and 2014. In the meantime, U.S. President's son Donald Trump Jr. has admitted meeting a Russian lawyer last year. However, Trump Jr. says the lawyer had given no meaningful material on the presidential candidates. FBI and Congress are looking at whether Trump campaign officials colluded with an alleged Kremlin plot to undermine Mrs. Clinton's campaign. That wraps it up from this end. The news continues.
And now to sports update with Dendi Sunny.